Welcome back. Let's see how Petal Fair did on the biz wheel. Mike?
Leonie, on marketing, I've scored you an orange. So many things you're already doing. Your newsletter, your brochure, your talks. Just need some concentration to move them up into the green. Same with the sales. Orange again. A lot of things you're doing right, a lot happening by accident.
All right then, Thane.
Consistent and level income is fantastic, Leonie, but in order to achieve real growth, you need to have inflation-beating income. So I'm going to score an orange on the financial side because you're not getting there. However, on the administrative side, I'm also going to give you an orange because you're not availing yourself of the technology that will help you improve your productivity. In fact, your expertise is being underutilized in other areas. So orange again for you there.
Leonie, what do you feel about those results?
I would probably have given myself a red for admin.
Really?
Yes, I think so, because, you know, I struggle with computers and new programs and things like that. It takes me a while to learn.
Okay, well, there's plenty of green to be had. So after hearing about Petal Fair, Mike, and visiting the website, I had super high expectations for what my visit there would be like. How does a business owner manage the expectation of a consumer?
Andile, every single touch point between yourself and your customers has to be managed. It starts off when they arrive at the website. I think you need to change the front page a bit, make it a bit more welcoming, something a bit more about what you do. Next, it's the phone call. What exactly is the greeting? After the phone call, it's about the arrival. As you and I stepped outside, we walked up to the gate, and what do we see? No sign. So put up a nice big sign up at the top. Next step, when they get into the gardens themselves. If I was you, divide those gardens up into wet garden, dry garden, shade garden, sun garden, everything like that. How about a visitor's book for people that are there? Okay. They sign the book, they put their comments in, they put their email address. Next touch point, when they leave, make sure they leave with something. Your brochure, have a look at that brochure. Needs a bit of work, needs a bit of categorization. Then they leave, you email them the next day. And don't just use normal software. There's email software that'll tell you what they're reading, who's opening it, what they're doing. All these things, every single moment, monitored and worked on.
That's great advice, Mike. In fact, what does Leonie need to do to grow her countrywide business, grow the appeal?
Well, countrywide's a whole new market for you. You need to identify areas where you want to concentrate on. Go look at the local newspapers, publications, anywhere where you can put adverts in. Another thing I noticed you do is you do mail order. Now, to me, mail order means I'm going to receive a packet of seeds in the mail. I would change that to door to door. You're sending the whole plant. Meet with some courier companies, work out some great prices, start marketing that. Countrywide, it's all open to you.
Thane, once the business starts raking in those new profits, taking care of finances becomes more important than ever. What are things Leonie needs to remember?
Technology has landed SUV on Mars, man on the moon, but I would like you to use it to improve your productivity, Leonie. I'd like you to use it to improve your costs, time savings. Those spreadsheets that you've got that don't talk to each other, maybe you need to get those also integrated into your admin system. But Leonie, I don't want you to do all of that work. I'd like you to employ someone in the office to help you with the administration, because that'll help you use your expertise much more efficiently, which will offset that cost of hiring a staff member.
Thane, how does Leonie go about hiring the right person?
Very often it's difficult for entrepreneurs to use recruitment agencies, Leonie, but here's a few tips for you. First of all, prepare a job description. What do you want these people to do for you? Then set yourself a question list that you need to ask them so you can get them talking to you in the interview. I also like you to actually then advertise, whether that's by word of mouth or in the newspaper, for people to send their CVs in. And after that, and you've interviewed these people, have a score sheet as they walk out. Score them as to, for example, enthusiasm, their appearance. Do they have a driver's license? And what is their experience? And I'm sure by doing all of those things, you will be able to find the right person in your admin team.
Thank you.
Leonie, you may not be an expert in technology, but you are an expert in your own field, and you need to leverage on that. Those talks you've been doing, I'd like to see you formalize them. One talk every single month. Now, there's a theory known as the velvet rope theory. What happens is if you see a guy standing there with a velvet rope and blocking your entrance, you want in. And that's the same with your customers. So you make some of those talks by invitation only. Make them want to be part of your inner circle. The next thing you might want to consider doing is charging for them. Even if you donate the profits to charity, it does make them more appealing. People feel when they pay for something, they get more value from it.
Yes, I've found that.
Some great advice. What do you make of it, Leonie?
I think it's very interesting and very relevant, and I will definitely do that.
Tonight we have a question from Olo Ncwanywa from Soweto. He has his own Johannesburg-based advertising business and says he frequently comes across people who have great ideas but very little resources. Olo asks, how do you start a business with zero budget, no funding, and no collateral? Mike.
Well, currency is not just money. It's time and effort. And maybe if you haven't got the capital, you can put in the time and effort to grow the business.
Okay.
To be successful, entrepreneurs do not only need talent, they also need to have a written plan of action detailing how they intend to take their business forward. This plan can be informal if you're approaching family and friends. It can be a bit more formal if you're looking to angel investors for assistance. But a lot more formality is required when you're dealing with banks and other financial institutions. By the way, there are some agencies that will not require collateral. But don't forget to do a bit of homework on the international concept of crowdfunding that is beginning to trend in South Africa.
Well, there's your answer, Tolo. Over the past 4 decades, she has found her way into our gardens, kitchens, and hearts. She's a household name in South Africa. And when we come back, we'll get to meet this extraordinary herbal pioneer.